fucking cool.
Women are so fucking cool.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Women Are So Fucking Cool. I am your host, Joanne Morton, and I am the founder of the FCW Society, the Fucking Cool Women's Society, where we respect, encourage, and celebrate everyone. Oh, yes. And I just have one thing to say. I'm going to say this again, probably, but right now I'm just saying people need to listen to fucking cool women, hire us, and bring us on to teams and projects because fucking cool women are so fucking smart and do so many fucking cool things. And I am so amazed. I'm so amazed that I can still be amazed at the women that I continue to meet as I move forward in making this podcast and talking about it with just random women, here and there. So, and today's episode is a first. It's the first time that I interviewed somebody that I didn't know. I had never met Trista Guertin before the other day when I talked to her on the phone or on the Zoom rather. And I found her through a podcast Facebook group. And so I'm going to definitely keep putting it out there because wow, what a treat to meet fucking cool women that I don't know yet. And she was so special, and her story was just amazing, so awed, inspired by her journey. And she said some pretty cool things in regards to what the definition is for an FCW and some other really good things that I was gonna like kind of share some of the taglines that she gave, but I thought, spoiler alert, I don't want to do that. The only spoiler alert that I'll give you for this episode is she ends it by reminding us to have fun. And I 100% agree with her. So have fun listening to my conversation with Trista Gerda, a fucking cool woman. Oh, one more thing. If you'd like to support this podcast, please check out my Patreon or my Substack and also write a review on any of the places that you happen to be watching or listening to this podcast because it does help. Helps a lot. Help me share the fact that women are so fucking cool. And I get to say this. I get to talk to another fucking cool woman. As I'm editing this is what I say every time. And as I was starting this, I was like, you know what? What else can I say but the truth? I'm talking to another fucking cool woman. That's what we're here for. So today it's Trista Guertin. And as I mentioned in my intro, I didn't know Trista before today. And so this is a really nice milestone in creating this podcast. So I just want to say thank you so much for, speaking up and saying, I am a fucking cool woman. I want to talk about this. I love that. So I love it. So, hey, Trista.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. This is fun.
You're so well. Yes. I want to acknowledge you're my first Canadian. So this is
Thank
good.
you. Yes. An honor.
So, well, the reason we're here today is we're talking about fucking cool women because we are them and we like to celebrate them. So, to jump right in, I'd love to ask you the big question. What is your definition of an FCW?
You know, I know for myself that I have really, embraced that idea that I can live outside the box. I can make my own rules, and I want to have a lot of fun doing it. And so I think if you're, a fucking cool woman, then you just live in that power and really embrace your individuality, embrace what you want, and, whatever it is, and have fun with it. Just own it and have fun.
And have you always embraced it? Have you always lived outside the box,
You know,
within the box?
I kind of have. I don't know where it came from, but for me, when I look back, at, 19 years of age, I was going to go backpacking across Europe. I mean, nobody else I knew was going to do that. I mean, I know it's not that uncommon, but I was going to go with a friend, and we were going to go after high school for 3 months, and she pulled out. And so I had to make a decision at that point. Am I going to go or am I going to stay home? And I didn't have anybody else to go with. And I thought, of course I'm going to go. I mean, I was not going to stay home. And I landed up going over and I landed up taking a couple of tours and doing a little bit of traveling on my own. I didn't do it entirely on my, but the point was that I went and at a time where nobody else was doing that. I took a year off, instead of going straight to university or college, I took that year off. And then I came back. I worked at Niagara Helicopters in the fall, so they were doing tourist flights over the falls for 5 months. I saved up enough money to buy a plane ticket and I went to Australia for a year. So, so somehow that's how it just started. And I landed up taking 3 years off, working, traveling, went back to university, took another 3 years, worked, traveled, went to South Korea, taught English. I was down in Guatemala and Honduras. I was out east, did my master's, and then I started my humanitarian aid career, which was 20 plus years of traveling around the world. Now I've been to 78 countries. I've lived in places such as Sri Lanka, Angola, Kosovo, Iraq, Yemen, Lebanon, all these places. So, yeah, I just sort of did my own thing, never got married, never had kids, just kept traveling everywhere and having fun. I don't know. And here I am.
Oh my gosh, I have to prepare myself for this. I have this, that wasn't on your LinkedIn profile.
No, that's not in my LinkedIn profile.
That is so fucking cool. Congratulations. Yes,
Thank you.
that's
Yeah.
amazing. Oh, I
Yeah,
get
it's been
it.
fun.
Oh,
It's been great fun. So,
yeah. I know, I bet. And I have this feeling, and one of the questions that showed up for me when I was listening to you is like, how do you recognize because you've traveled everywhere. And this is, and I love that we can just, I was at a networking event on Tuesday. My friend and I were standing next to this woman and we just like, she's FCW, and then she was, how have you recognized and how have you met and, fostered long-term or you just the day of friendships with FCWs and how's that impacted your life?
well, traveling around the world like that, I've met so many amazing women, and it really has been like the women that I remember and impacted, like hearing their stories and seeing part of it is, the more you travel, and of course, you're sort of aware, but I don't know that it comes as much in your face as when you're actually there meeting these people that, you know, not everybody, not every woman has the same opportunities and freedom
Mhm.
that we have, particularly in the West. And so, but regardless, they're smart and they're ambitious and they're brilliant and they've just got an interesting story to tell. And it's just appreciating that and just really, you know, respecting and yeah, it's just this appreciation. Like everybody has this really unique story and they're all really bright and fun to be with. So I just enjoy that.
I love it. You brought up a very, very important part about not imparting your Western feminist ideals
Mm,
onto another culture without their support or their, or that I remember one of my early, I think it was Cherry Morago, one of my early feminist women studies books, and there was a poem about, you know, leaving your your ideas, your feminist ideas on the other side because it's it's really it's respecting everyone's everyone's rights in a sense, whether
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess I've tried to do that in some respects, but then, I mean, there are like I think you have to read the room and you have to understand,
yeah,
you
interesting.
know, um, and really like where to engage and where not to
I
engage.
like that.
Right. And, certainly like when I was in South Korea, I was working with a group of women who were working on their PhDs. And, they were like, you're so lucky. You get to do whatever you want because one of them was about to get married. And she said, she'd finish her PhD and then she'd get married. And then that was it. Like her career was over. She would have no opportunity whatsoever. And then I met women in Yemen who, half my staff were women in Yemen, and they were brilliant and they were hardworking and they just, put their all into these jobs, but they were completely covered from head to toe, right? Like they're just eyes. And then, spending time in Lebanon you see you have everything from, one spectrum to the other in terms of freedom and culture and religion and whatnot. But yes, the culture, like the ideas, like the pressure to get married and to have kids and all this, and that's where I could have some interesting conversations, right? Because to me, like that there was more sort of flexibility. There was a little bit more room for some of these conversations. But yeah, I mean, you sort of have to read the room and
Yeah.
be careful.
Yeah. Yes. But what an opportunity. Oh my gosh.
Mm,
To meet, because women are women. And I always, we all know what it feels like to bleed.
right.
That's our common, bond,
Yeah.
one of our
Yeah.
bonds. So who are some of the, share some of like a woman that's inspired you or someone that that you get to have in your life as a fucking cool woman friend?
Um, gosh, there's so many.
I know.
I mean, I have a colleague. I met her back when I certified for my coaching practice. And we were in the same cohort there, and I've never met her in person. We're Zoom buddies, and her name is Dr. Bruna Galabardes, and she is brilliant. She's an MD, she has a PhD, she has all the degrees, everything. She's, been a practicing doctor. She's done some research work and now she's transitioned into a full-time coach and she's totally killing it working with women in menopause, helping them to lose weight. Um, I mean, she's just brilliant and she's just killing it in work and she's made this beautiful transition and she's been so supportive of me in my process and my work and we've been there for each other throughout, trying to figure out what this coaching is and how we can do it and how we can make a real go of it and yeah, it's just been inspiring to see her progress over the past 4.5 years and her dedication. But she's, brilliant. I don't know anybody with so many degrees and like there's such this, interesting career that she's just been able to do so many different things and transition and she's still going. And we have lots of plans to grow our businesses and meet up and have a lot of fun eventually. So she's pretty cool.
Oh, I love that. I love this Zoom friendships that are forming and are formed,
Yes.
I have a
Yes.
couple as well. Yeah.
Right. Well, all of my clients are on Zoom.
Uh-huh.
So I've been working with and coaching women all over the world. Singapore, Johannesburg, Canary Islands, London, Glasgow, Dubai, Toronto, New York, all of these places. Women I've never met in person, but just really remarkable women that it's been such an honor to meet and to work with. That it's so much fun. I never could have imagined this 5 years ago, right? So,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's stepping into it. It's so amazing. That's awesome. So with regards to your work, how do you and your personal life as well, how do you sort of use the words and understand the words about respecting? And I feel like you exude already because you know, just based on your traveling experiences. But I just love talking about respect, encourage,
Mm.
and celebrate. And the bigger sense of the world as well, because we're so there's so many respectful things happening, and you know, and people
Yeah.
are not encouraging each other to be our best selves, and there's not much celebrating. It's all the bad news, you know.
Yeah.
So how can we bring more of that to the world?
Well, one of the things that I noticed when I started coaching, now this is, myself, like me getting coached, listening to other people getting coached, coaching, and women, when I say other people, I mean women, coaching them, listening to them being coached, getting coached myself. And one of the recurring themes that came up in almost every session in some form or another was that she thought she was doing it wrong. It being life, work, relationships, kids, like you name it, right? That she was doing something wrong, or there was something wrong with her. It was very internalized, like there's something wrong with me. I can't do this. I'm doing it wrong. And so my mission, if anybody, if you take anything from this podcast episode or any session that I do, any of the work that I do, there's nothing wrong with you. It's not you. There's nothing, you're not doing it wrong. There's nothing wrong with you. There is a reason, and you make sense. You make sense. There is a reason for why you're thinking this thought or why you're feeling this emotion or why you're creating this result in your life. And we can figure that out, right? There are a number of things happening with your primitive part of your brain. It's the way we've been socialized. It's the way we've been programmed. It's part of your experience. Like it all makes sense. You just might not be aware of it at this point. So I really want respect, self-respect for, the women and encouraging them to stop beating themselves up, stop judging themselves, stop criticizing themselves, get really aware of the story that they're telling about themselves, how they talk to themselves, and just know that there is nothing wrong with you and you're not doing it wrong. You're okay. You make sense. Right? And then when I encourage, it really is, if a woman comes to me for coaching, I believe 100% in her. I know my program is to help women get unstuck for good. I know I can do that, and I know she can do that. She might have some of the insight, she might have some of the tools, but then the work that we do is to really apply it, to really go deep. And I'm there to support her. And I believe 100%. I know that she can create whatever it is that she wants. She can become whoever it is that she wants to become. And then, part of the process is always celebrating the small wins, taking that time. It's one of the most powerful exercises you can do for yourself. If you take 3 minutes at the end of the day and just celebrate what happened today that did you send that email that you had been putting off, or did you write that blog post and publish it, or did you, I don't know, feed a stray dog or something. Whatever it is, it's like, can you just celebrate yourself? Even those small moments, those small steps are really important.
Yeah, so true. So true. Yeah, we are enough. We are enough. But you know, and I'm like to, you know, speak in the positive, speak in the affirmative. But when you said there is nothing wrong with you, if I was like that is a perfect thing to say. Like, don't try to shift it, don't try to reframe it,
Right.
you know, because there's some, I think those are important words to hear. There is nothing wrong with you, and you
Right.
can still be fucking cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you
No,
know?
we really do. Like I've just seen it like people just internalizing it time after time after time.
Uh-huh.
And I just thought we can't all be wrong. We just can't. We just can't be all wrong. So
No.
there's a reason. There's a reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
So take
And then
some
to
of
go,
that pressure off yourself.
yeah. And to go back to what you said, what a definition of FCW is outside the box. So if
Mm,
you're stepping outside the box, that's not wrong.
right.
So there's
Right.
nothing wrong out here. So whatever you do, and it's a wide open space outside the box.
It's true. And you know what? And that goes against all of our sort of socialization and that primitive part of our brain too, right? Wanting to be a part of the tribe, wanting to fit in, not being ostracized or stand out because back in the day that meant death.
Uh-huh.
We couldn't survive on our own, so we had to sort of play small, fit in, make sure that we weren't drawing attention to ourselves. And I will tell you, I mean, I struggled with that for a long time. Like, even though I kept going and doing these things, I was sort of like, should I be more normal? Should I go home? And I did actually come home for a year and a half to Toronto and live and thought, because my friends were getting married, they were buying houses, they were getting ready to have kids, and I thought, well, maybe I should be doing that too. And I came back, got a job with an organization. So it was where I was a project manager. So I was still able to travel to like Haiti and Uganda and Ghana, but I was living in Toronto. And I did that for a year and a half. And I was like, no, I'm good. Like and I went to Iraq. So yeah, but it's normal. It's normal to have these questions and to struggle and figure it out and keep
Yeah.
going.
Yeah. No, it's similar. I've been thinking about that a lot lately as I'm in my early 20s and 30s. I did made choices that were not the norm as well.
Mhm.
And you question it, you're like, and I looking back, I don't want to regret that I wasted time feeling questionable, but at the same time, it is what it is, and I got over it. And now I'm so grateful for it. And then I believe that because each generation of women are moving through and stepping out of the box to make it a little easier for other generations of women to step out of the box and they don't have to question it like we were questioning it, for as long.
Yeah.
Um, because there's always going to be questioning, but there's something wrong with me because I'm not getting married? Is there something wrong with me because I don't want a career job? Is there something wrong with me because I want to move?
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
there isn't anything wrong with you.
No, no, but they don't
No,
tell you that, right? And
no.
then, but now I know, like it does make sense.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
We want to fit in, and when you look at, I mean, I look back now at all these movies and things, and
Uh-huh.
like Jerry Maguire and all these. It was like I'm like, no
Yeah.
wonder I was thinking this was, and I was just
Oh,
like, oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Not all movies are aging well.
I know, right?
No, no. Yeah. And I love movies. There's some movies that just can't really watch anymore. I can, you know, recognize
I
them as what they are, but not
I
need to.
know. But even, I have to tell you, I've been watching White Lotus. It just, because I was kind of curious about it. And then I think there's a character, she's a young woman and she's involved with this older man. Okay, older, I say, like he's in his 50s. He's the same age as me, basically, but okay. But she was saying in the episode the other day, she wants to heal him. And I was like, oh, no, no, like no. No.
But oh, so many women do. I
Yeah,
know. My heart goes out to those women that feel that way still. It's really,
yeah,
but
yeah.
we're all on our own journey.
It's
So,
true,
and all
right?
we can do is keep the doors open. Yeah. Well, this has been fascinating. I definitely am grateful. Like I said earlier, I'm so grateful. But I'd love to hear any last things that you'd like to, share about what it means to be an FCW and what's anything.
Anything. Well, I think part of it is learning how to think bigger and bolder we're not really taught and encouraged this as we're growing up to really examine the possibilities. I know, especially when I was growing up, there was like you could be a teacher, you could be an accountant, or you could be a nurse, right? Nothing wrong with those. But it was like, we just had this very narrow vision of what was possible and what was acceptable. And even still, I had somewhat of a different career, but I'm still exploring and trying to broaden my mind as to what I think is possible. I feel, especially at this age now, I'm just getting started. And I think having my own business presents a lot of opportunities that I'm still exploring, and I really do want to see what's possible. But I find like I really have to push myself to think bigger and bolder, and I tell all my clients like drop the word realistic. That's not a word we ever want to use. So, being fucking cool, I think, you want to start pushing those boundaries and start thinking bolder and bigger because the possibilities exist. We can think up really amazing things, and, just to start to cultivate that belief in ourselves that it might be possible. And just having that, opening the door a crack. You don't have to believe 100% right now, but it's a process creating and cultivating that belief. So, keep working it, keep doing it, but, start to broaden your vision and have fun. Have fun. Always have fun with it.
Yeah.